What's up, everybody? Welcome into another episode of Bulls Latest. Your host, Matt Johnson here. Going to start this Tuesday show looking into the numbers when it comes to Ayo Dosunmu and just how much of an impact he's been for this Bulls organization. He passed up another Bulls legend. I wanted to start today's show with that on Sunday in Atlanta in that win over the Hawks. That shootout game was one that was very exciting for Bulls fans. It was the Bulls' third win in a row, fourth in their last 5 games. Ayo Dosunmu has now passed D Rose on the Bulls' all-time list for made three-pointers. When you're jumping Derrick Rose, you certainly have been a fixture for the Bulls organization. Ayo finished with 13 points in 17 minutes on Sunday. He was 6 of 10 from the field, 1 of 3 from three-point land. That one three-pointer was enough to get him over the hump in terms of passing up Derrick Rose on that list. What a feat for this guy. What a player he's been for this organization. With no Dalen Terry, Julian Phillips, and Javon Carter in this contest, you got to look at what you're going to see moving forward now that the Bulls are fully healthy. I think that Ayo Dosunmu is going to continue to play an expanded role on this team as long as he can stay on the floor and stay healthy. I got my fingers crossed that he's going to be able to do so because I think that he's a guy. You guys know that since I started this show, I've been really high on Ayo Dosunmu, and I know that a lot of the teams around the league see him as an asset as well because that kind of speaks to how his trade value has been so high in recent offseason. I expect it to be high as we move into this year's trade deadline again. As far as the guard rotation goes, though, you're going to see him at the top of it. Obviously, Tre Jones is going to get a lot of looks as well there. So he's going to be an important element to what they're going to do moving forward. Again, make some Bulls history there, moving past Derrick Rose on the all-time three-point list. So an exciting night for him, or an exciting afternoon, I should say, an exciting feat for him, being a hometown guy there. Very excited for him and what's to come in his career still. So looking into, and I wanted to dive more into this, we're in the midst of a 3-game win streak, guys. This team, if you guys have been watching them over the last month or so, if you go back a couple of weeks, there ain't no way Bulls fans would have said this team would have ripped off 3 in a row and 4 of their last 5 the way they were playing basketball. It's almost like the perfect storm of getting fully healthy at the same time and then playing great basketball to boot. I just think that when you get everyone back healthy, it allows Billy Donovan more flexibility on what he could do with his lineups. And I think that you're seeing that. You're seeing the combinations put out there in different ways by Billy. And this was really his plan all along at the really beginning at the start of the season. I think that you saw that when the Bulls got out to that hot start in the beginning of the year, you saw them be able to kind of utilize a lot of the different talent that they have on this roster, and they really were able to run and gun teams and put up a lot of points, and that was a huge portion as to why they were able to get out to that 5-0 start. And now you're seeing that kind of come to the surface again here as they get more guys back. So I got into it on Monday's episode, but the rotations have so much flexibility with this team when you have your full arsenal of players and you can put out different combinations of guys that could really give opposing teams fits on how to defend them. So, just looking at the most prime example of this, that coupled with the, veterans such as Nikola Vucevic agreeing to play a different role here and taking on and embracing that is a huge part to this because sometimes you guys all know how the NBA works. You get guys who kind of develop big egos, and when you tell them you want to change their role on a roster, some guys don't always agree to that. That can create turmoil, and especially looking at Vooch in the final year of his deal, he could easily say, "No, I'm a superstar guy. I want to be a fixture in this lineup. I don't want my minutes cut." He has not been that, and Billy Donovan, I'm sure, is very grateful for that, and that speaks to the recent success the Bulls have had, winning 4 of their last 5 games and putting up big points in doing so. So looking at that and, kind of diving into the numbers here, the highest scoring NBA games of all time. We just saw the most high scoring game of this season in the Bulls 152-150 win over Atlanta on Sunday. So let's dive into what the the history looks like in terms of what the highest scoring games ever are. You have 1970, you had the Pistons beating the Nuggets 186-184. That's a total of 370 points. That was a 3 overtime game. The most recent one in 2023, you had the Sacramento Kings upholding the LA Clippers 176-175. That's a total of 351 points. That was a double OT thriller. I actually remember watching that game. That was a crazy game, and really the most recent one that we've had at a scoring of that magnitude. And then you had one back in 1982. You had the Spurs outlasting the Milwaukee Bucks 171-166. That was a 337-point effort. That was a triple overtime thriller. You guys remember this one, I'm sure, the 2019 Bulls-Hawks game again, coming at one of the highest scoring games of all time. That was a 4 overtime game. The Bulls beating Atlanta that night, 168-161. And then in 1990, you had Golden State and Denver going at it. Golden State would beat Denver 162-158. That Bulls game, just looking into that 2019 contest, you had both teams in having 7 guys scoring in double figures that night. Zach LaVine had 47 points, 9 rebounds, and 9 assists. And then you had Lauri Markkanen putting up a double-double, 31 points, 17 rebounds. Man, when you're looking at it, just speaking of Lauri Markkanen, this guy has really blossomed into an NBA star. Zach LaVine has had a bit of a tricky situation over there in Sacramento, but I wish the Bulls front office would have held on to Lauri Markkanen. I'm sure a lot of Bulls fans could agree. He really does look the part of an NBA star, and a guy who is really getting better every single year. So as we sit here just before Christmas, that Bulls-Hawks game we saw on Sunday in Atlanta was the league's highest scoring game of the year thus far. A super exciting contest. Trae Young obviously missing that shot at the buzzer, like I talked about in our last episode here. But the Bulls are rolling here. They're getting some momentum. They will stay in Atlanta and play Atlanta for their next contest as well. Kind of an interesting caveat to the schedule there. But let's see if they can rip off another one against this Atlanta team and extend this win streak to 4 games as we move into the holiday here. I wanted to end today's show and just kind of talk to you guys as Bulls fans. What is we're around the holiday season. What's your wish list look like for this Chicago Bulls team, for the Chicago Bulls organization? It's been a very up and down couple of months here to start the season. The NBA season's always filled with those ups and downs, but this Bulls organization makes it seem like more of a roller coaster with some of the things you see and some of the antics that could go on all the way from the front office to the players. I don't really know what to make of this Bulls team, to be honest with you guys. I think they could be destined to be headed towards another play-in tournament. I mean, the odds kind of they're screaming that at this point in the season. I know it's super early, and who knows what this Bulls team is going to look like as we come towards February there. It all kind of depends on what kind of basketball I think the Bulls are playing at that moment in time. Also, the front office could have a bigger vision of what they want to see moving forward. Who knows? It's very unpredictable. That's why I want to get your guys' outlook as fans as to what you want to see. What do you wish for this holiday season for the Chicago Bulls team? So thank you again for joining me, guys, on another episode of Bulls Latest. Hope everyone has a good one out there. Thank you guys for your support with this show, and we will see you guys next time.